So my first question is, what is Rediscover Your Spark?
So, Rediscover Your Spark work is first and foremost for curious people in personal or professional times of transition who want time and space to discover more of what they want and need for the next stage of their life. 7 years ago, when my husband came home from rehab and was newly sober, we realized that we had to kind of meet each other and figure out what was this new relationship going to look like. So when I developed Rediscover Your Spark, we simultaneously developed it for couples as well, because relationships are in a constant state of transition. Maybe you're newly empty nested and you're looking at each other for the first time in possibly 18 plus years and sort of wondering, I hardly even remember that you live here, much less what I liked about you or why we were such a great couple at a previous time. Or maybe you have a new baby and suddenly you've gone from having this incredible ability to focus on each other to this little person who's demanding all of your time and energy. And you want to make sure that you are creating space to keep that relationship going, or one of you is retired, or one of you this, and this. There's all kinds of transitions that come that disrupt the routine and rhythm of our primary relationship with the person who we love most in the world. And this is a fun, thoughtful, delightful evening to just start to reconnect and see each other again and think about how you're going to go forward.
Okay. So I love the dinner with the personal chef and the mixologist there to
Mhm.
make either mocktails or cocktails, whichever
Yes.
people want. Explain to me, like, what do we do and how do you do it?
So the first 75 minutes or so are all about spark work. Um, and it's a series of questions. You'll each get a small workbook, and you start by looking through some areas of your own life for yourself. And then you get together with your partner and you talk it through. And then we have kind of a table conversation. And then you do those same questions, but you do it in terms of, well, what is this sparking for me about us? And you get together with your partner, and then we have these big table conversations, and then we have this beautiful 3-course dinner. We have these beautiful cocktails or non-alcoholic cocktails. And let me just reiterate, in case you missed what I said, my husband doesn't drink. So if you are someone for any reason who opts out of alcohol, our mixologist makes incredible non-alcoholic cocktails because he happens to also be our son. So he is as invested in making non-alcohol drinking as normal and as enjoyable as anybody I know. So there's no shame, there's no embarrassment, and you don't have to make any great proclamation if you don't want alcohol. You just let me know when we have a conversation about it.
And
Anyway,
he's coming all the way from Los Angeles to do
he's
this.
coming from
Right?
Los Angeles. I did something either really, really smart or really, really foolish, depending on how you look at it. But I built my son into my business model, which
So
means it's
cool.
an additional expense, but it's a real gift and a real differentiator for these experiences. And selfishly, I get to spend more time with him. So it's nothing but a win in my book.
Cool. Cool.
So we have this beautiful dinner. Conversation ensues throughout dinner. And then we end by making a commitment as couples to what are we going to do in the next week to help us move forward on these new sparks that we have either rediscovered or maybe discovered. And some of why this is such a beautiful experience is that somebody else at the table might say something that makes you go, my gosh, I never would have thought of that. But it suddenly sparks for the two of you as well.
Right.
So the conversation piece, the community building, is really an important piece of the evening.
I'd be interested to hear like what some of the results are for some other couples, just so I can know
Yeah,
what to expect.
it's no surprise that women gravitate towards this and often are the ones dragging their husbands along. Men are often afraid that it's going to be things that are really, really touchy feely, or that it's going to get super intimate, or that they're going to have to admit things that are embarrassing, let me promise you, this is not therapy. Someone said to me the other day, it's not therapy, but it's pretty therapeutic. And I really loved that idea.
Yeah.
So it is not about revealing anything you don't want to reveal. So a lot of men come a little bit nervous. After we did the first one at our house last summer, I had the two men who came in and I thought looked like they were going to throw up. They were so nervous. Both of them wrote to me long texts telling me how important that time was, how surprisingly fun it was, how much they valued sitting with their partner and having conversations that they just weren't having in any other way because we don't take the time to say, okay, we're at this new stage of our lives. What do we want next? I am hearing just how meaningful this time was, how well paced it was, how fun it was to have Maz, my husband, and I both leading it. Maz often starts by telling this very, very funny story of the lists of suggestions we came up with when he came home from rehab. And I won't ruin the surprise. You'll have to come to the dinner, but Maz's suggestions really are extremely funny. And that conversation just gets the ball rolling in this beautiful way. So to have that opportunity to
Mhm.
just sit in this, again, no stress, very fun, light way and do this work, think about these questions for themselves and for their relationship is really illuminating. I adore the couples one because I just think it's harder to find that time and space and energy to have these conversations. And they're so important.
That's so cool. There are so many, like, questions that people have, and I don't it's better to come from you than from me because I haven't been through it yet, so I
Yeah.
can't wait to go through it.
Imagine the best conversation you've had with your partner, with some of the best food you've had, with some of the best cocktails, with the opportunity to meet new people interested in this curious time of discovery, all together working on this. That's a pretty outstanding evening.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Trish.